Hi, ladies. I'm Shirley Osborne with Feminine Alchemy, and I have to tell you, I am delighted. I am absolutely, absolutely delighted that you have chosen to explore your four feminine power types so that you can have the health and happiness, the wealth and wisdom and wonder, the love and the luxury, and all the wonderful things that you want for your life. I am happy that you have made the decision to just go get the life that you want. That is what powerful women do. Now, you're doing that means it tells me that you have decided to turn desire into power and turn that power into reality, the reality of the life that you want, the life you've been dreaming of. I can tell you from my own experience and from that of other women who have taught me that when you get fully engaged with your four feminine power types, your feminine power archetypes, the chances, the opportunities to create the life that you want just abound. They increase. You can't even understand how or why. The chances of success increase exponentially. That is what happens when you engage your power types. That is what happens when you engage your power types and allow them to operate fully. Just give them permission to operate fully in every area of your life. So, what are your four feminine power types? Well, a power type is an active archetype. And by that, I mean that it is something that you do. It's not just something that you are. It's not just that you are an artist, for example. It's that you have to act like an artist. That's an active archetype. And that is the difference between what I call a regular archetype and a power archetype. A power archetype, a power type, is what you do with who you are. It's what you do, it's how you act in service to what you want. I mean, you can be whoever you want to be, but you won't get very far until you actually begin to act a certain way, until you actually begin to do things in a certain way. And these power archetypes are aspects of you that help you do just that. They help you to do. They help you do the things you need to do in order to have the things you say you want, in order to be the person in the world that you want to be, in order to create the life that you want. Your power types guide you to take the actions that will have you accomplish the things that you want, acquire the things that you want, create the life that you want. It is with their help. It really is. With their help that you get the life that you want. Without them, of course, you'll have a life. But you have a focused, guided, successful life when you operate in a focused, guided, successful way. And that's what your archetypes help you to do. I mean, one of the things we all know for certain is that none of us, not one of us, is ever only one thing. We're all different things at different times. We operate in different ways in different circumstances. And that is because of our power types. Our power types or archetypes are in action all the time. They are in action all the time. The difference with engaging them is that you guide them. They don't guide you. You guide them so they act and they bring you the results that you want. I learned about these power types over the course of many, many years in my work with women all around the world, in different countries and different cultures around the world. And it's really apt that right now an airplane is flying by. I spend so much time on airplanes going back and forth around the world, working with women and girls, that it actually is perfectly apt that it should not intrude, it should enter our space right now. I learned about power types with my work with women around the world. I watched women work. I let them teach me. And I mean women of all ages, from the very youngest children to the oldest women, 99, 100, 104 years old, actually. I've met women that old. And I've learned about these power types from watching them, from hearing their stories, and from them telling me specifically about these different ways of being. These women from every country, every culture, every language in the world, pretty much. Women from all over the world taught me that among the many virtues and talents and qualities that women have, among our many characteristics and aspects, are these is actually is a set of characteristics that fit beautifully, fit perfectly into these four power types. And the four power types are artist, scientist, magician, and alchemist. Artist, scientist, magician, and alchemist. All of these are creative. Women are all creative, so it makes sense. So the first thing, the foundational thing to bear in mind is that all of these, each of these archetypes, each of these power types is creative. It's fundamentally creative because women are creative. In every aspect, we are creators of our own lives. We are creators of other people's lives. We are creators of the world around us. We make the world. We create families. We are the foundations in much of what goes on in human living. Who we are and what we are as women in many ways determines the shape and direction of our world. Even in those instances where it is men who are the powerhouses, so to speak, these men were created by women. At least 50% of what goes on in the world is our responsibility. Yes? It's a power that we cannot deny, and it's a power that cannot be denied us. It just is. It just is. And we need these four feminine power types, singly and in combination, to manage our lives so that we present, we create the best possible manifestations. So the first feminine power type I want to talk to you about is the artist. The artist is imaginative and sensuous. She's physical. She's in touch with her body and attuned to the natural world and the senses. She can find her way around chaos and disorder like nobody else. And she thrives on rhythm and desire. Hers is the what we do. This is the power type that you plug into when you're building, planning, or preparing something. The artist is also the lover of the group. She's concerned with beauty and grace and elegance and things like that. The artist is the stylish one. Many women neglect our artist. When we're building families and working and creating other things in the world, with a multitude of responsibilities and practicalities of our living, we neglect our artist a lot. But let me tell you, the artist, your artist, is very, very necessary to your well-being and to your ability to enjoy the journey of living, precisely because she's into nature and love and life and beauty. The scientist, on the other hand, is cerebral. She's given to reason and order. She deals in fact and process. She establishes boundaries and parameters, and she's sensitive to change and direction. This second power type, the scientist, is the one you depend on, is the one you activate when you are being the CEO of a company or of a home, when you are dealing with concrete, verifiable, dependable aspects of your lives, things that just are. Yes? And the scientist is also the doer of the group. The scientist is the one who does. She makes things happen. The artist imagines them, and the scientist makes them happen, creates them. And this is the place, in fact, where most women tend to place ourselves, driven by the traditional and stereotypical, if you want, stereotypical demands on women's lives. We fix things for others. We make things happen. We keep order in the world. We pay a lot of attention to that, where we neglect often the artist who plays and enjoys and loves and takes time to stop and smell the roses, as it were. The scientist makes things happen. She doesn't even often stop to smell the coffee, to use a couple of cliches. The third feminine power type I'm going to talk to you about is the magician, and she exists entirely in the realm of possibility. She is about outcome, results, and timing. Those are critical to her. She's sensible and she's wise, and she's focused on when things happen. She's focused on the whens of our living. You tap into your magician when you take the lead, when you are functioning in spheres of influence and authority, when you are determining the length of relationships, for example, and how you are in the world. And your magician is the leader. She's the leader of them all. Now, when these three power types are working together in perfect synchronization, they bring into force the fourth power type, the alchemist. Now, bear in mind that there is no out of sync for any of these. They work and they create what you allow them to create. When I speak about them being in sync, what I mean is when you guide them, you guide and direct them. Remember we said earlier that they operate whether you guide them or not. When you guide and direct them is what I mean by when you are in sync, when they are in sync. And so when they're in sync, your alchemist appears. And your alchemist is the superior feminine power type. She is synchronicity itself. She's the payload when the work is done. She steps into force when preparations and plans are properly laid, and she just makes things happen. She's you at the height of your personal power. Things just move along when the alchemist is in the room. She is both unpredictable and very, very dependable. She is the why things happen. And she can be counted on to make sure that they do occur, but she gives no guarantees about when. Your alchemist demands trust. She tests our faith and self-confidence, but only to reassure and enlarge them considerably every time she comes through for us, as she always does. Inevitably, without fail, she comes through. So with the artist, we let our imaginations run wild whenever they want to, and that allows us to be our most expressive and emotive selves. Our scientists keep all of that in check and directed with her didactic, rational, and logical mind. Every single day, every day, our magician opens us up to the spiritual, the mystical, the natural worlds. And once we are guiding and directing our power types, she takes us on journeys, on those journeys that make it possible for us to access the universe of creativity and transformation that the alchemist governs, that our alchemist governs and guides us through. This is the power of our feminine power types. They are ours to engage and govern and enjoy. They are yours to govern and engage and enjoy. They are yours for you to employ in creating the life you want, whether that is a life of wealth and luxury, of service and contribution, the life of a traveler and seeker, a teacher and guide, or any combination of them all, and all the other possible ways of living that are ours to choose. With our feminine power types, we get to choose. That's the beauty of them. Your feminine power types are you. They are you. Your feminine power types are you. They are you. And they operate whether you guide them or not. But your chances of success and fulfillment, of pleasure and delight, of accomplishment, abundance, and whatever else you desire, all increase to the degree that you engage your 4 power types and allow them to operate in your life. I learned so that I could teach you. I learned from all these women all over the world so that I could teach you, so that I could transmit this essential feminine knowledge, wisdom. So come to Feminine Alchemy today and engage your power types, engage your 4 power types and have the life that you want. Come be your feminine power types.